What it do, man? It's your boy, Benji. And we are back. I appreciate each and every one of y'all that have been showing up, showing out, and of course, hitting that sub button. Slide that like button to chop, man. Welcome to the Benji family. Because Don Callis is not getting things done. I appreciate each and every one of y'all that have been kind of getting me ingratiated in the midst of the AEW storylines, because I have just started watching AEW maybe a few months ago. But I'm starting to kind of figure things out. I've been checking out some of the matches that y'all have suggested, as well as trying to get in tune to some of the storylines. Look, man, I ain't gonna lie. I've been super busy, but still making time for the Benji family. So we're fresh off the holidays and everybody's refreshed and ready to see what is going to happen. The show opens with Samoa Joe versus Eddie Kingston. Honestly, if you ask me, I don't really care too much. I don't know if they're going to fight on the grill or if this is going to be something else. In the midst of a cookout, I could see these guys rumbling, throwing punches, while the hot dogs are just about to get the perfect temperature. In all seriousness, Eddie is just going to be a hurdle for Joe to get past and get through, and move on to the next challenger. There's probably going to be a bunch of entailments though after this. Eddie came up with Hook. Hook betrayed Hangman and mentioned in a segment that was not on the main television show that he's never really been gone from the Ops. So you'll only use Eddie as an opportunity to prove his loyalty. If I was Eddie, I'd probably be mad at Hook, but I guess he just went straight to the boss. Those guys are probably gonna have a match down the line, but yeah, down the line. Hangman, if I was him, I'd be mad at Hook too, but at least he's smart enough to go after the guy that holds the gold. Eddie mentioned that Samoa Joe is an inspiration to many wrestlers and fans alike. Of course, Eddie Kingston does not like the man that Samoa Joe has turned into. And if he was to show up as this guy, it's over him. Eddie's gonna rip him apart. Side note, did any of y'all have issues like catching some of this on HBO? I don't know. My stuff is completely gone. I don't see it. For some strange reason, the Ops, they're going to be challenging random teams from Ring of Honor in an effort to defend their Trios championships. My next question would be, where does Hook fit in the midst of this? He's just a nuisance on everyone's side and eventually gets a one-on-one match because they are so angry with him? I don't believably see him beating anybody. What do y'all think? Next, we saw the Continental Classic ensue and continue. Pac is yoked, man. But he does look funny standing next to OKADA because OKADA's like 6'3" or something like that, 6'4", and this dude just looks like a little small muscle man. These two rumbled outside of the ring, and of course inside the ring, these guys put it together. It was a solid match. They've done relatively well with some of the segments and allowing a lot of these guys to get TV time. As onlookers, as fans, we kind of get to see the beginning of the spiderweb cracks and the foundations of a lot of these factions, teams, and friendships. The ending of this match was a little because Pac charged up and hit a clothesline from hell on OKADA and then immediately tried to put OKADA in a choke. OKADA just no-sold it, flipped him over, roll up win, 1, 2, 3. I'm not mad at OKADA sneaking out a win, but I'm not the biggest fan of someone no-selling a big move or finisher to immediately transition into a roll-up with no hesitation. OKADA goes on to the next round, but I believe that eventually he gets accosted by Takeshita. The reason I probably feel that way is why I gotta salute OKADA and Pac in this match. I was actually believing that Pac was gonna win this match, and I got upset that OKADA just beat him so smoothly. Moving forwards, I think this could mean a lot for the status of the Death Riders because they're all looking for the same thing. You can see the difference in the dynamic between them and the Don Callis family. We're just a number. Anyone who holds gold in the Don Callis family has a sliver of respect, but that's it. In the end of this, Don Callis is the one who really reaps the rewards, not you individually. Let's say you lose the title to somebody in the Don Callis family. It's still going to be Don Callis reaping that recognition. We then saw Fletcher versus Jet Speed's own Kevin Knight. You knew these two were going to put on a good match, and of course, there were plenty of really close near falls, including another moment where Kevin Knight eats a couple huge moves from Kyle Fletcher, and then when Kyle Fletcher looked like he's gonna finish him off, he flips him into a roll-up. Anyways, Fletch wins. I believe that he wins this tournament. I don't think he's gonna go too long without gold, one way or another. Saw resident coach boy, Mark Briscoe, man. He addresses Daniel Garcia of the Death Riders, saying that he's just not quite sure he sees in him what he once did. And I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't either. Briscoe wants to beat this dude down, so he decided to go to Tony Khan to get a match against the guy. So these guys are going to be fight at Winter is Coming. One could assume that there's going to be a lot of shenanigans in this match, but I don't know. With the current state of the Death Riders, Daniel Garcia could be out there by himself. And boy, There are a lot of championships on this show, but I feel like every segment we talk about is about a championship. Ricochet, who is our new champion, talked about the dozens and dozens of promoters that are hitting him up, calling him up. I guess they want him to be the next Mercedes MONE and challenge for their brand's titles. Ricochet is the champion, though, with a busy schedule because he's going to be heading out of Ring of Honor to face somebody, and then right after that in Collision, he's going to be fighting somebody and giving them an opportunity at a championship. And when you're in demand, you make demands. And then we saw another segment backstage where the conglomeration talked to Renee about the potential matchup of Orange Cassidy and then Mr. Strong. Uncle Roddy. Y'all got on me, man, about calling this dude an uncle, man. Now, I thought that it was interesting because in this segment, we saw Willow and our cat lady mid-conversation slide over to the side of Roddy. What does that mean? Well, it got even stranger because Roddy said that he's not in the conglomeration. He's going to break this dude's back. Am I crazy? I thought they was all one on one accord. Time out. I could have been missing some TV. Did we ever find out who attacked them boys backstage prior to Blood and Guts? Am I losing my mind? We then next saw our resident control freak Don Callis out there in the ring with the big bag of money that was supposed to be given to the Young Bucks. He literally begged the Young Bucks to come out there and take that money from them, which at this point is blood money, because you know it's going to come with a price. But it's a big bag of money, you know what I'm saying? This actually ends up turning into madness as the Young Bucks come out there, beat everybody up, but then they eventually succumb to the numbers game. Jurassic Express come out there and try and save the day. And then Kenny Omega, the man that Don Callis could not forgive the Young Bucks for siding with, comes out to save the day. I know Andrade is going through like a big legal process. And I think that it's unfortunate that he got thrust into a storyline because what the freak is going on with Kenny? He's like literally dipping and dabbing his fingers in everywhere. I get it though. He's one of the cornerstones of AEW, man. Man, this guy. Hey, at this point, hey, Evan, get everywhere. Get it while you can get it. It's your world. We just living in it. We're going into the next women's match, which was for the tag titles. Like I said, there's a lot of titles on this show. And I think that one of y'all were telling me in the comments below that there's still less titles here than there are in the WWE. But bro, I don't know. My brain can't wrap around it. But I will absolutely tell you that my brain cannot wrap itself around what's going on in the WWE. So at least that's the leg up. But I am excited for this tag team tournament. I think that these two are going to be the eventual winners. The Babes of Wrath. They talked about their come up and how they eventually became friends. In this video package, they tell us about how they've been through so much together. It's a lot. I mean, they've been through Blood and Guts, 8-man tag team matches, multiple tag team matches. Wrong. That's the problem with wrestlers. They think that anybody that's on their side for a couple weeks is suddenly their best friend. That's why they get turned on. They're so gullible. So, speaking of tag matches, we saw Megan and Marina versus Toni and Mina. These women were out there getting to it, and they were a long way from the kitchen. But you'd be fooled, because they came out there with frying pans. They pulled out anything they could and just wreaked havoc on one another. Of course, a hardcore match is never complete without blood, so we did see a couple people leaking. Originally, I didn't really get behind Mina being on Toni's team because Toni's so eccentric, and I just don't get that vibe from my woman right here. But maybe you need the high and the low, the yin and the yang, in order to properly operate. In this match, there was a moment that I really enjoyed from an entertainment aspect, but I'm not quite sure how I felt about it in regards to what it means for the wrestlers individually. Was Santa Claus coming to the ring? Santa Claus was revealed to be Miss Storm's butler. He distracted Marina long enough to allow Toni a window to stab Marina in the head and eventually get a roll-up pin victory. Why I say I was unsure about this is because it was kind of like a bad guy thing to do. Have your butler come out there and cause a distraction for you to win. I mean, I think it's cool because it didn't mean that Marina and Megan would lose easily. They could have came out there with the Death Riders. They could have came out there and had plenty of distractions, but they didn't. Maybe you can argue that this is a leg up for Toni. Let me know what y'all think about this match. It was a good match though, for sure. I enjoyed the Christmas theme. Chris Statlander and Cameron HAYTER have found out that they have common enemies, which is the Triangle of Madness, and they've just decided to try and unite forces in order to take out a portion of them, which is Sky Blue and Julia Hart. And then after they take care of them, these two want to eventually have a match for the title. This is what I'm talking about. Why do these wrestlers get together as if they are friends and everything is cool? You should not move like this. This woman wants your belt. I'm sure that the enemy of your enemy is your friend, but in this instance, I will keep an eye on HAYTER. Her name is Jamie, bro. She's a HAYTER. You think she's gonna be cool with you getting a pin? There are a lot of people that believe that a blood and guts match should be the thing that completely ends all feuds, and then coming out of something like that, you should refresh and restart. But I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that you can use a match like that to amplify a lot of the feuds. But at the end of the day, you can put an ending on a lot of storylines that way as well. But in this scenario, I think that this is an amplifier. And it's not like Jamie HAYTER and Statlander were ever on the same side as best friends. At the end of the day, they can work against a common enemy, but I still want your gold. Our CEO is back and has a lot to say after Renee kind of quips at her for being unsuccessful. She names off all of her accolades and then yells at Renee, do you believe after I accomplish all these things that I'm unsuccessful? Does that sound unsuccessful to you? Renee, you better watch your mouth. Moné's gonna put this Ring of Honor title on the line, and a lot of people believe that it's time for her to start losing championships. I think that she should have been losing championships. If she's gonna go and defend, somebody has to take these belts from her. But I don't know how creatively you can set it up for her to lose these belts, because it's a lot of belts. And it's gonna take over a year, right? Obviously, the biggest thing that's plaguing Mercedes is the fact that she has not been able to win the big belt. Mercedes might go down as one of the greats, but in the same regard that Iverson or maybe Charles Barkley or Tracy McGrady is looked at as one of the greats. You put up a lot of good numbers, but you weren't able to secure the big thing, the big ring. So as great as you might think you are, you ain't really that good. Speaking of confidence, Renee caught Don Callis and some of the members backstage chopping it up. Since Don Callis is so confident in the members of the Don Callis family, why are they not putting the 2 belts that Okada has on the line? That's something I was alluding to earlier. Don Callis breaks it down for everybody who's uneducated and blonde that he's not a degenerate gambler like one of the Jackson brothers. He's not going to put 2 belts on the line for 1 winner. Okada had to work hard to win 2 separate belts. These guys aren't as confident as they truly seem, because Renee's right. If you were that confident, put 2 of them up. F it. Even though you say it's not a charity case, put 2 titles up. You're confident. Don Callis says, look, I'm confident, but I'm not stupid. Now, this can make me believe it's something. There's some home cooking going on here. Somebody's going to get double-crossed. Okada's losing the belt, like I said. Don Callis knows what he's talking about, and he's throwing a lot of fluff in our face. A lot was going on, man, backstage, bro. So Hangman, after he showed up and started beating up the OPPS in the ring with a big chain, he got caught backstage by one of the cameramen just yelling. I told y'all how I thought about Hangman's promos. Well, they can be passionate. I'm just not sold. He's back there literally just yelling and screaming about how, even though he fought extremely hard to win the championship and to retain it, his reign was essentially ended by hook. This would actually be the most demoralizing thing about my title tenure. That hook ended it. He's going to match up with someone who Hobbs and Shibata know is coming for them in the tag team match next week. Who do y'all think is going to be? Swerve? Swerve. Is it going to be Eddie? What do y'all think? The main event of the show was ball-on-ball crime. We got Claudio versus Jon Moxley. I was actually excited to see this match and what could actually mean the potential fallout of the Death Riders. These guys went at it, which, if you're somebody who hangs around somebody day in and day out, I'm sure that you would have picked up a lot of their tendencies and their habits. And it makes a lot of sense that you would have to literally go down to the wire. Of course, it is not a Moxley match unless he's bleeding, but I would like somebody to get the stats on it for me. Out of how many times has Jon Moxley bled and lost? Like, what's this, the failure or success rate for him when he's bleeding? This was a 20-minute match, time limit. Eventually, it is Claudio who hits the uppercut to win. I thought there was going to be a big moment at the end of the show, but no. We didn't get it. I mean, even if you check on AEW socials after the fact, I mean, there was just a scene where a cameraman caught them after the show, and Marina, Pac, and Moxley over there doing push-ups. 3 losers back there doing push-ups. You would think that Claudio would come back there and be gloating. You would think that Pac and Marina would probably be back there disrespecting Moxley, but they're not. They're all on one accord. And so even though Claudio won and all 3 of them lost, it's as if nothing happened, nothing changed. And Mox basically told the cameraman, it don't matter. Since one of us won, we all won. They're just trying to fight against themselves. The person they see in the mirror. That's the person they're looking to be better than. Not any of these guys out here. To me, I mean, that was good. I wish this could have been on TV. It was actually a really good segment, and I think it said a lot. All in all, a pretty solid show. I mean, there was a lot of kerfuffle, a lot of randomness going on. But if I had to say that you had to watch this in order to keep consistent with the storylines, nah. But I mean, all in all, I mean, we like to rate everything with yay, nay, somewhere in the middle. Okay, it's an okay show. Obviously, we saw some good graps, and we did get to see some slight, I wouldn't say story progression, but we got to see people speak about what's going on. So not really much that moved the needle today, but I think this is an episode, again, like I said last week, that you can call back to down the line and say, hey, I remember X, Y, and Z. But I think that over the next few weeks, there's going to be a lot of changes and turmoil. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Thank you for staying tuned the whole way through. Stay tuned to the next one.